Tonight I'm showing you how to paint Superman. I'm excited. It's a simple painting, and I thought you would appreciate that. The first thing you need to know is I am starting out with a black canvas, and I'm only using black and white. My first step is to basically add the light and blot out his body. This is a chiaroscuro painting, meaning we're pulling the light out of the dark. So keep that in mind. So this is the top of his head and his hair with a slanted kind of circle shape. And then his forehead is going to be somewhere in here. And his nose somewhere in here. I don't want to get too carried away with details yet, because I want to just make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. It's all too common to get really far into the painting and then realize that something isn't quite right and you have to readjust. So this is going to be a moody portrait of Superman. Clark Kent. It's a bird. It's an airplane. No, it's Superman. Alright, so we've got an indication of his hair, and then his forehead will be somewhere in here, and his nose will come out in here. I've added a lot of water to my paint to make it thinner. And his mouth will be in here somewhere, and then his chin will be in there, and then his neck underneath. Let's see if this all fits. He's got his chest. And the back of his neck. You can already kind of see it emerging. So it's so funny. I thought at first that Wonder Woman and Superman were together, but they're not. He is in love with Lois. And isn't it strange that no one can recognize him, even though he doesn't have a mask? I think that's so funny. All he has is his glasses. Okay, so here is his shoulder, nice and buff. Honestly, I might want to move everything over a little bit because I'm not sure if there's enough room. Yeah, I'm just going to move everything over just a hair. This is why you don't add too many details to begin with. Because you often need to kind of shift and move things. The neck is going to be like almost like a little D shape. And I'm really just capturing almost like a silhouette with highlights. It's going to be somewhat of a simple painting, but like all paintings, it does require some finesse. What is your favorite Superman scene? Let me know down below. And of course, Wonder Woman is the daughter of Zeus and is a true Amazonian woman, and she was actually made of clay. Did you know that? I did my research. And everybody said that I look like, is it Linda Crawford? So that's why I thought I would deliver with this look today. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of do a side to side brush mark just to feel out the width of his chest. And let's make sure we have room for his incredible Superman six-pack by doing two little side-by-side blobs, almost like oval blobs to start out with, and then kind of moving it in downward. You can see the light starting to happen. And then his arm is going to go out on the left side. Believe it or not, this is a really good start. Let me check the audio really quick. Is that okay? Also, fit check. I had to fly away on my invisible jet to fix my audio. I had some audio issues, and here I am telling you some facts about Linda Carter or the Lasso of Truth or something. Also, I just thought I would at least include this part of the painting process so that you understood how it developed. In case you're following along, I'm really focusing on shaping the profile nose and adding light to the profile. It's backlit, so oh yeah, here I'm showing you how strong I am. Oh yes. That is the strongest metal in the world. It's bulletproof, so don't mess with me. It's so strange. I was recording and I realized that my audio did go out right after I checked it. So here we are. But yeah, evidently Wonder Woman got slack for her outfit. And people back in the day thought it was too hot because of all things it showed her back. It's not funny. And my question is how could she not defend herself with these amazing shields of armor bracelets made from superhuman steel and metal from the gods? Anytime someone tries to shoot me, I just got it. So, yeah. And evidently, she has this iconic moment where she says that dressing like this makes her feel powerful. And I totally relate because I feel so powerful. Let's get back into it. All right. Right now, he looks like he has an overbite because I need to add his chin. Too much water. I feel like his nose might be almost like too angled. Like, I don't know. There we go. You kind of have to paint everything together so that you can adjust things in relationship to each other on the canvas. So here's his neck. Oh, so his chin will go back like this. And he has a nice big chin. And honestly, his lips could use a little work. I feel like I need an even smaller brush. This is nuts. This is a pretty small brush. There we go. See? So, this is good. This is good. All right. So we've got his nose, and it kind of curves. And then we've got his top lip. And then we've got his bottom lip, which is almost like a little pouty D shape. And then his chin, which pops out quite a bit. There we go. And then we've got his neck that comes down. And it's almost like a big D. And then underneath his neck is a highlight, which is his collarbone area. And honestly, this is a somewhat minimal painting. And so we've got his collarbone area and then his uniform, which goes across horizontally. And as you can see, we're starting to see the image come to life. All right, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more white in here. Side to side brush marks so it feels expansive. Blend it in with the black. And of course we have to have the Superman logo. So let's start out with just the S. The center of the S is going to be really wide. And I'm using thick, heavy body acrylic paint, so there will be texture. All right, then it curves in. And then it comes up like a little hook, or like a little, I don't know, it's kind of like a font thing. And then that's going to go into the diamond shape. I highly recommend just kind of lining everything up vertically and horizontally. Like when you paint this, see where it lines up with the highlights on the neck to make sure that everything feels structurally sound. Adding some black in here just to define it a little bit. This shadow has a little bit of a curve happening in the neck. And it's okay to bounce back and forth between different aspects of the painting. Don't worry about it. I still feel like Wonder Woman is completely underrated to this day. I mean, she is the daughter of Zeus. She's cool as heck, and she is hot, duh. And yeah, hang on, I have some facts written down about her. Oh, she's 5,000 years old. Crazy. And some of her talents is she's immortal, she's strong, she's a healer, she heals herself, She has telepathy, and of course her lasso of truth allows people to tell the truth. And her real name is Diana Prince. And I feel like the dark hair is very Diana. So, makes sense. I don't know if you've seen Anne of Green Gables. Not trying to be all over the place, but you know how her bosom friend Diana has dark hair? And her catchphrase is, "No, thank you. No, thank you. You want me to come hang out with you tonight? No, thank you." I'm kidding, we can hang out. Okay. And she fights for people. She fights for people who can't fight for themselves. Which, my heart, I love that. Still working on the S. We've got the diagonal shape, and then it comes in, and this is going to be like a curved diagonal line. The curve is because of his pecs. And it should kind of line up to where his abs are, which is why I'm making the curve deeper than I did initially. You can always take your black paint and kind of buff out any imperfections you make with the white, so keep that in mind. And just painting in general, it's very fluid. It's okay if you mess things up because it's pretty easy to fix. All right, and then it curves up almost into like this teardrop shape. And then the rest of the point of the diamond. And his pec on the left side kind of comes out a little bit further than the S. So I'm just going to paint that in. But then it kind of disappears into the black. So I took some black and just kind of blended it. And we can intensify some of the shading structures as we go. All of this could be one shape, like smooth kind of line. There we go. Using textured paint for this is a little bit annoying, but it'll look good when it's done. Getting strong lights, darks, and medium tones is going to be our key in this one. Adding a little bit more shape and structure to my S. And there's a little bit of like a highlight in this center area, the negative space of the S. And there's also some deeper darks here in this little crevice and here. Which is making me realize that that is coming out way too far. I'm just going to push this in. When you paint the negative space, which is the space in between the things that you're painting, you realize where everything, you might realize you need to shift the painting, which is totally fine. Painting is all about shifting it all the way through. Don't be afraid to shift, shift, shift. And I'm going to add a darker kind of outline. That does look good though, doesn't it? I'll be right back. All right, upward and onward. So there is a little bit of a highlight towards the bottom of the S, which is his right pec. And now we're gonna go down to the abs. So we're gonna line it up each ab on either side of the S. And we're going to do kind of like a blob, like a hooked blob that kind of comes down into a line. And then we're going to add a little bit of definition, almost like these rounded spots downward. Just like that. And then now on this side, we've got the blob connects to the S, and then it comes down. Very good. And then I'm gonna actually take my black and kind of buff it away to make it less intense, make it more of a gray shade. Taking my black and my white really and just kind of going back and forth, finessing the paint, and then kind of blending it in with the black. That's good. Oh yeah, we mustn't forget about Wonder Woman's invisible I don't know what you would call it, invisible mobile, her invisible spacecraft thing. All right, so here is his shoulder. I am just going to make a highlight on his shoulder. Very good. And then we have some more highlights on his shoulder. This is the muscle definition. This is the back side of his shoulder, kind of like just like his back shoulder area. Oh wait, I gotta line it up with this. So actually move that down a little. And then up here is where his cape is gonna be. That's good. So little highlights. And then softly bringing it down, allowing the black to show through the paint. And back here is the back of his arm kind of coming down. I'm going to take my black paint and just kind of paint over some of my happy accidents. Do you make happy accidents sometimes? Okay, let me know in the comments. Who is the one who coined that term? Pop quiz. Good. Okay. We're actually getting close to the end of the painting, strangely. And I say strangely because it's kind of going by quickly. All right, so in here, we've got the highlight and then kind of a light gray shadow happening on his shoulders. There's like grays and then there's little highlights of white. Right here, right here. Perfect. And then in here will be a little bit of a indication of a forearm with gray, with a diagonal kind of line happening, or just a diagonal moment right in here. Very good. And I add it and then I kind of buff it away a little bit where it's a little maybe too strong or too bright. And again, just bouncing around the painting as I see fit so that everything kind of locks in together. So See, this is the back of his arm. It feels a little rough in there, so I'm going to take my black and just kind of soften it. And over here, just kind of take away some of that indecisiveness. Really good. And you can't really see it, but right here I've got another forearm kind of happening. I'm just going to highlight it a little bit more right here. That's good. Now let's focus on the back of his neck area. He's looking down, so we've got a diagonal kind of curved line happening. That is his neck. And then look, we've got the end of his hairline right about here. So I'm just making a little hook, like a little indication that that's where his hairline starts. And I bring it down and then do the same thing where the cape is going to start as well. I'm not sure if that's exactly how I want it to be or not. We'll take the black and just kind of move it into the white so it feels a little bit more subtle. Very good. Going back to this spot, I feel like that highlight needs to be more white. That's good. There we go. That looks nice. And then little lines, curved lines for his cape. Catching the light. Because my curved lines are a little all over the place, I'm going to take my black and just separate them a little bit with my black paint. That's good. So this should kind of connect to right there. I see how this curves a little bit too soon. It needs to visually kind of lock in with this other highlight happening. So I'm just kind of adjusting it a little bit. Adding a little bit more structure to his muscles. And curve to his cape. That looks good. That looks very Superman. Now, a few little, let's do some highlights on the back of his head. Not too much, but like a little kind of strokes, like little tiny hairs, kind of diagonal, rounded, so it shows the shape of his head, although that's too much. So I'm going to take my black and just kind of paint over it a little bit, allowing some of it to show through. That's better. The head feels a little bit flat in here. I'm going to take my black and just add some roundness to the back of the head, especially towards like the top of it, and then here as well where it feels a little bit out of hand. There we go. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and add a few more highlights at the top of his head, where the hair is combed over into a nice, handsome, old school side part. And a little bit more hair towards the front, where it kind of curls over his forehead in a very superhero, old school way. I'm going to take the black and just kind of push down the negative space in this area. So it feels like his hair is kind of, has a little bit more shape. There we go. That feels more Superman to me. And then in here, maybe break it up just a little bit. Perhaps that one spot's a bit too bright. And again, I'm just going to reiterate this little curl because it's so very Superman. Oh yeah, that looks good. And I'm just redefining a few of the little details on his face. Making sure his nose feels nice and prominent. The nose is so important. Taking the black and just kind of going back and forth between the black and the white, of course, but mainly to refine the shapes that I already have on there. And let's do a little indication of an ear right here, kind of above his nose, between his nose and his eye, or where his eye would be, which you can't see his eye. But you see how the ear can kind of anchor everything. That looks so good. I do feel like in here needs to be softened a little bit. There we go. And then in here, just refining this highlight as well as his mouth. He's got kind of a pout going on. That looks so Superman. I love it. Now, I will say his eyebrow bone here could be a little bit more defined. And then taking the black and just pushing it in to the white and then curving it in so it looks like a really well-defined eyebrow bone and forehead area. Really good. I think that's how I want it to look. That looks so nice. I'm just going to add a few more little final touches. In the S, just adding a few shading details. So like a little black spot underneath this part of the S. Making the S diamond more solid, I suppose is the word. That's good. Taking the black and doing the same thing here on the curve. Just making sure that it's shaded right there. That looks so good. Adding just a little more white in a few places. Like highlighting it in a way, I guess, like the top of his uniform here. Maybe that was too much. There we go. The back of his neck. That looks good. All right. Once again, Adding more white onto his abs and his pecs. This looks really good. Adding just a few highlights here, like a little bit of definition in his arm. Let's take my black and just cover up some of these imperfections. And that looks good. Love it. All right. Nice. I'm into it. What do you think? Were you able to follow along? This is actually a really pretty easy painting. Here, I think I am gonna kind of just finesse that just a little bit more. I don't know why it feels a little too something, I'm not sure. A little too noticeable. You want everything to kind of lock in and feel like it belongs. Nothing should stand out too much. Okay. What do you think? I love it. I do feel like there's, hang on. See how there's a little bit of white in here? I'm just gonna add more black in a few places where I feel like the white gets a bit out of hand. When you look at your painting from different angles, you see it differently. That's better. So right here, it's like a little bit of the cape needs to connect. There we go. Relatively small adjustment, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit more brightness to this shadow. Do you see here where I added more of the cape? That looks good though, right? All right. I'm done, at least for now. Or so I say so. But don't listen to what I say. Hang on, there's one little spot. There we go. I just thought it would be appropriate for a member of the Justice League to paint another member of the Justice League. But I hope it wasn't too confusing, you know? It's the Justice League, right? Let me check my notes. Yeah, it's the Justice League. Okay. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash. Never really got into the Flash. Should I? Well, I hope you enjoyed this painting of Superman or Clark Kent. And, yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's a simple painting, and I thought you would appreciate that because I have a bunch of different levels of paintings experience in my tutorials, and this one is really truly, I think, for beginners. So if you learned anything, put it in the comments. I would love to know. And yeah, not today. Okay, not today. I will see you next time, and I appreciate you. So much. Thank you so much for watching my ASMR art tutorial. And I will see you next time.